We'll start with a round of introductions. Yes? Yes? I'll allow our panelists for today, Dr. Henry Omai and Elder Apollo, to introduce themselves, and also to allow our advocate for today, Jacqueline Obala, to also introduce herself, and then we can proceed from there. Henry Omai?
A very good afternoon, members. Through the chair, thank you. Call me Dr. Henry Omai, Bishop with the Restoration of Life Center Pentecostal Church, but an AJS practitioner in Kajiado. And I'm glad to be here.
Yes, thank you, Elder. To you, Elder Apollo. Elder, kindly unmute.
My voice, yeah?
Elder Apollo, kindly unmute.
You have done? Are you getting me?
Yes, you can get you, Elder.
Yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, all participants, and Elder Omai, how are you?
Very well.
Yeah. My name is Apollo Bwana. With the Luo Council of Elders, Chief Elder, Luo Council of Elders. We do a lot of mediation. I'm a mediator, and we practice a lot of mediation within the Homa Bay County. Thank you.
Thank you, elders. These two are among our panelists for today. Let me allow Jacqueline Obala, our advocate, to also introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Jacqueline Alice Obala, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I am also an accredited and certified mediator, and it's a pleasure to be part of this discussion today.
Pleasure.
Very well.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Allow me to make a small presentation on KELIN and what we do as an organization. KELIN, which is Kenya Legal and Ethical Issues Network on HIV and AIDS, is a non-governmental organization that works on enhancing health-related human rights and has been at the forefront in championing for the rights of people living with and affected by HIV in Kenya. KELIN's strategic plan focuses on the right to health in 5 thematic areas, namely HIV and TB, key and affected population, women's land and property rights, sexual and reproductive health rights, strategic litigation, and health and governance. Now, all the 5 thematic areas seek to influence policy and legislative framework relating to their mandates to empower communities and affected rights holders on their rights and develop capacities of non-state actors on health and human rights to facilitate access to justice in regard to violations affecting key rights holders individually and collectively. To forge strategic partnership in communities with national and county government actors in the East African sub-region, in the African region and globally to enhance the delivery of the strategic results for KELIN. And as a thematic area of women's land and property rights, we work closely with our elders through AJS to facilitate access to justice for women whose rights to own property, especially land, if their rights are violated. And we work with Council of Elders from Luo Nyanza. We also work with Council of Elders from Kajiado and among many other areas. And today, this evening, we are joined by 2 of those elders who are going to share their experiences, and together we can develop action points on areas that we need to improve as stakeholders. And the topic for today is facilitating social transformation through AJS. And allow me to go straight into our first question that will guide our discussion. So to you, Elder Omai, what are the impacts of implementing AJS? I would like for you to focus on AJS as you implement it in Kajiado Cosmopolitan. Maybe you can share even your success stories. Thank you, Elder.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. And I want to appreciate Kaylin for coming up with this forum so that we can do a discussion and sensitize people to know exactly what AJS is doing. And first of all, allow me to say that AJS is given the power from our Constitution, mandated in Article 159 of our Constitution, and the Council can tell us more on that. And the focus mainly is to be able to allow citizens to access justice. That's the core thing. Number 2, when we talk about social transformation, I want to first of all ask a question: what is this social transformation? Because people tend to think that this is another new philosophy. But you see, alternative justice system has been there, practiced in different cultures. And right now, when we talk of Kajiado Cosmopolitan, there's a difference, because when you under a cosmopolitan, it has its own approach, like when you go to a different location altogether. So it is simply about promoting the systematic changes in institutions and empowering that citizens can actually access justice. One component that I've come to like about AJS, it is actually cost effective, it is time saving, and without going to a lot of legal jargons. And at the end, you are able to reconcile people. And that's the beauty about AJS. However, we have seen some of the challenges, especially in Cosmopolitan Kajiado, whereby people appear before us, and especially the ladies who say, as we have no access to our parents' properties, because you know the norm of the Africans. But again, when we have been consulting and refer even to the Constitution, and also looking at Article 2 of Mobutu Protocol, that actually is signed to the African Charter, which Kenya is a signatory. You see, both male and female can have access to their parents' property. So those are some of the cases that we have heard, and I'm so happy because people now are realizing that it is not the way it used to be. Like, for example, when you are a girl, you cannot access your parents' property. And this is coming up so very well. At the Cosmopolitan, we have success stories of young ladies who were locked out when they lost both of their parents, and they were told, you don't belong here because you're gonna get married elsewhere. And they were actually excluded when it comes to getting letters of administration of the estate of their parents. So we have worked on that, and it has become a success story. For now, I can leave it there, Yvonne.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Elder Omai, for that introduction. Allow me to welcome participants who have just joined us: George Alambo, Caroline Oyumbo, Isaac Oraro, Irene Okuta, Kamlesh. Feel welcomed, and anyone else who has just joined, feel welcomed. We just started the discussion on AJS, and if I could ask Elder Apollo, Elder, before you proceed to give us your experience on the impacts of AJS in Rachuonyo, could you kindly maybe define for us what AJS is and how you have implemented AJS in Rachuonyo.
Yes, thank you. I think just to add on what Elder Wamai has defined, is the same is about alternative justice system.
Hello,
are you getting me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so it's about alternative justice system. The alternative here is something which is also debatable, because in the customary tradition, the justice system has been existing. And here later, after the colonial times, we got now what we call formal law. And this found when we already, all African cultures and all cultures had their systems of justice. So at times, I normally argue and say, actually, the traditional justice systems are not alternatives, but the normal, the formal law. But leaving that aside, we found that it has been working before the formal law were formed, that is before independence, and it has worked in many cultures, especially in Lowland. It has worked, and it had all systems of regulating the behavior of human beings, or the laws, including how to punish, how to go about all sorts of law, from marriage. And in the olden times before, they could even manage the issue of death and killings. But again, today, we want to revive it. We want to get it back. And that's why the AJS is strongly being recommended and being worked on by the government. And to date, we have again the policy, the AJS policy, which is in place, allowing everything, including what Elder Wamai has said about the Constitution, that is the article 49, part 2, 149 part 2. Yeah, 149 part 2. So that confirms that this what is called alternative justice system, which has been working before, should actually be strengthened. It has been working with us to date when we started working with it. And as Elder Wamai has said, I just want to add more onto that it has been reducing a lot of court cases. And in fact, if I was surveying and looking at how many cases being resolved which do not go to court, then statistically I was finding we have so many cases being resolved within the community and the alternative justice system. That is reducing now the backlog. So it is less expensive also, because in most cases when we are mediating, we reach the people who are having problems, especially resolving issues of land. We go to them and resolve where they are in their homes. So it's less expensive to vulnerable people, and for those, especially those who cannot even afford 100 shillings to reach a DC's office or DO's office, or go to the chief, whom traditionally have been charging before they sit. And for us, we don't as Council of Elders. So it's also quick in resolving. In most cases, okay, that is also part of experience. In most cases, for the cases we've been resolving, at times it ends the same day and even half a day. And a big problem which has been existing for long is resolved. Is homegrown. Homegrown in the sense that some of our cultures, when we refer to them, and they end up helping us resolve some problems, because you find within the culture, if you refer to why things should be done right, with reference to cultural activities, cultural means and cultural regulations, we find we reach, some of disputes are resolved very fast. So if it is homegrown in that sense, you find it's homely also. And those who are in dispute feel like, so is Elder Bwana who is coming. So, so is Elder so-and-so. And it gives that environment, which is not court environment. Not will arrest you, not will, no, it helps in that manner. So it manages the community very well in terms of resolving problems and feeling homely. So briefly, that is what happens. But by experience, I've found that people who know us prefer. In fact, just some few minutes, I was called by one person, but I told him I'm having a meeting, so he's going to call me at 7. So he was calling me on how we could assist a widow who is being disturbed somewhere in Kabondo. Kabondo is in Rachonyo East. So you find many people tend to prefer the alternative justice system because we discuss in a home environment, we discuss what is commonly known, we discuss at times what we've encountered, especially with land. You find when the land is surveyed, at times the surveys have extended beyond the boundaries of the other person. So like in courts, it will be, what is the map saying? Surveyor, go and do it. Surveyor goes and then marks a point outside the boundary of that person. Then title deed, yes, have a title deed. And then the court will say, that's all. But again, for us, we go and they tell us the history of that land. And somebody will just tell you, from time immemorial, we knew from this end to that end would belong to so. So those are also quick means of resolving the issues, and it has been very good to end it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, elders, for your response. And back to you, Elder Mai. Could you give us maybe an example of one success story that you've handled, especially one where maybe they even tried litigation, but that failed? But once they got to AJS, then the matter was resolved in one session.
There were recently a family appeared before the AJS elders.
Yes.
And this is one old man who had bought a piece of land several years back. Later on, he saw that the plot is small, and the only way it was to expand was to purchase a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wanted to purchase the bigger one, he realized he doesn't have enough money. So him and the wife, they opted to go and sell the first plot they had purchased. But then the children intervened and they decided to put a caveat. They said, no, you cannot sell. So they had gone to court and they really spent a lot of resources on the same.
Mm-hmm.
But then when this man was told about AJS, he came and he narrated the story to us. Then we asked the family members to come. The daughters came with one son. Within one day after we had a discussion, we did a mediation, which turned out to be very successful. And actually, it is in a record whereby the daughters cried and hugged the father and were apologizing and saying, Dad, we didn't mean to frustrate you. And these people went a very happy family home that day. That's one of the success stories, and yet there are so many. Mm-hmm. Again, as my co-elders say, people need to understand the advantage of AJS. You see, it is really saving a lot of time. You don't take a lot of time. Actually, there are cases you can finish within one day. But now in the Cosmopolitan, it is a bit challenging because there are things that we need to investigate. You see, like in a rural setup, you can know the history so well because it's like one community. But Cosmopolitan, you want to know who came in, when they come from, and all that before you do that particular decision of helping them to come together. So that's the little challenge that has been there. But so far, it has worked out to be one of the best alternatives. Right now, actually, we are getting referrals from the people that we have served. When they go out, they start telling others the story. Why can't you go to AJS? Even like today, we had our mediation. And it's interesting, even I have a letter before me, whereby people who went to the DCC actually to look for some justice. Our DCC told them, why can't you appear before HAS? And we have called these people to appear before us on Monday. So I'm finding that HAS is actually turning out to be the best. And remember that the elders are people of integrity. That's what I want to assure our participants who are in the room or who are watching us virtually. Integrity is key, because when people come to you, they want their problems to be solved. You must be a person of integrity. Can the society trust you? This is one sitting whereby you cannot come and say, oh, what says, can we go for lunch? Or can we meet somewhere? You hear my story. No, you just come, we listen to you, we give justice to whom justice belongs. But at the end, we make sure that you two people, you reconcile. That's the most beautiful thing about it. And you see now, and that has been actually the appeal from our Chief Justice, Honorable Lady Martha Koome. In our talk, she's always talking about AJS, AJS. And I'm so grateful, especially to the national chair of the steering committee on AJS, the Honorable Judge Professor Joel Ngugi. He's so passionate about it and encouraging people about this AJS. Dr. Steve Accord, the same. They have really trained us to sensitize out. But you see, Yvonne, there has been a big challenge, because now here are elders sitting the whole day to work, to solve disputes, to mediate. They are not on a salary. And that's why we appreciate a development partner like Kelin that is coming on board to hold the hand of the AJS, to train many people who can be able to solve issues so that our courts are not crowded. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Elder Omai, even for that example. Having a network issue, let me try to fix that, and then I can put my camera on again. Yes, back to you, Elder Apollo. From what you have just presented on the benefits of AJS in the community, both you and Elder Omai, and how it's better compared to litigation and the other processes of resolving disputes. Probably from Rachuan, could you give us an example of a success story?
Yeah. As my co-elder said, there are many. I only pick on one. And this was a story which was involving a widow. And a widow who was also a second wife. They had lived in Homa Bay far for a bit of time. And after that, then the husband and the first wife passed on. But again, the family didn't like her. So for a long time, she was struggling to get her land and settle. The struggle, a bit of it, she was admitted and allowed to come in, but with a very small piece of land. So when she came to us, she was referred, of course, by the chief, and I like our chiefs around, especially El Dondiro, and our chiefs around. So they do refer. So she was referred to us. When we went, listened at the case, of course, the in-laws were very hostile, including the co-wives to the wives to the in-laws and the children, because, okay, to some extent they felt she wasn't really holding herself to the home, because she kept leaving and coming, which of course was also mentioned by her children. So to that extent, they were denying her rights. So we mediated the case, and finally we were able to let them agree. And then she was allocated land, and she's now building. Second case, sorry for doing the second one. Second case was also a widow. After the husband had passed on, she went back to, she stayed there for over 15 years. And then later she decided to come. When she came, the land was not yet subdivided into to her in-laws, including her husband. She came back with sons, with wives, and of course their children. So it means she really needed that piece of land. So we sat, mediated. It took a bit of time. That one took about 3 sittings. And then finally we were able to settle her. Elders went and we built a house, and she's there in that land with her children. All the grandchildren and the three sons are now settling in the land. So in this case, you find most of what we used was more or less traditional dispute resolution system. Traditional, as I told you, we are we are in the rural, and you must always refer to what could have been right traditionally, as a bit of it is also referred to the formal law. So it helped us, and then we were able to even subdivide the land, and she's now settled with the family, and that is part of our many success stories in Rachonyo. Thank you.
Thank you, elders, for the examples and that you shared of the success stories of AJS, and also for sharing the benefits or the advantages of using AJS. Kindly, members, allow me to invite Eunice, one of our panelists. She's just joined us. Eunice Nyumba, kindly introduce yourself and tell us something about AJS and how it has impacted the society. Eunice? Hello, Eunice, kindly unmute. Eunice, unanipata? Microphone yako imezimwa. Kindly naomba uwashe microphone.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Is it on now?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, can I proceed?
Yes, you can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Eunice. Proceed.
Okay, I'm Eunice from Homa Bay, one of the women champions, of which were trained by Kelin through a group called Kobonef. My work in the community, first of all, I'm a role model. I work with the community in different categories. And one of the key role in the community that I do is to link and refer. I'm linking people to the stakeholders or other stakeholders so that they can know what to do at what time. And I'm referring people to the relevant authorities. In the community, AJS has helped a lot. It has reduced the number of cases in the courts, and it has made so many members or the community members to come to an agreement so that they cannot file the case. We just go, we talk to each other, then they come to a reconciliation system, of which I know the AJS has got an impact in the society. Yes.
Thank you, Eunice, for that.
Yep.
Could you kindly give us an example of a success story, maybe a case that you referred to AJS and it was successfully handled?
Okay. First of all, I have a success story concerning the authorities. I went to the DCC in Diwa, talked to him about the AJS. I went to the OCS. I went to the chiefs. I also went to the court so that we can mediate things before they go to the court. And this has helped a lot. I have an issue of a widow of which the house was burnt by the in-laws. everything was snatched from her. But after we had talked and I followed the rightful channel by linking the widow to the killing people, and the case was handled. Now the lady has a home and no one is interfering with her. Another success story is that many women did not know that they also owe, or they should also owe, a land. And as we talk now, many of the women in my community or my society within my reach, they have the land that they have registered by their names. So I have a success story because women are now just like men in the community. No one is discriminating them. Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice. From what you're saying, I can guess that you're saying even as elders and the communities are implementing AJS, they still need to work with the relevant stakeholders.
Yes, we do.
Like the chiefs.
Yes, we do.
Yes, in some instances, probably even the police.
Yes, we do.
And even the Ministry of Land, and especially for Elder Omaya, I know he works with the National Land Commission closely in resolving some land disputes.
We also do that.
Yes, and then the second thing that I can get that you're saying is that AJS is different from traditional dispute resolution methods, because AJS now considers human rights, issues on non-discrimination and equality for all, and especially women. It allows them the right to own and even occupy land, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Eunice. And back to you, Elder Omaya. From your experience as an AJS.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Yes, Elder. Now, what should be done to improve implementation of AJS as a practitioner? What do you see can be done to improve implementation of AJS?
Very well, that's a good question.
Yes.
When we talk of improving, is actually looking at the challenges that are there, especially in the cosmopolitan, as much as people have come to appreciate, especially the role played by AJS. Allow me to say that there has come up some oppositions quietly though, from some of the legal practitioners, especially some of the advocates who have their law firms. You know, they want to have most of their clients continue with them. But when they find that these clients are diverting to AJS, it becomes like a query. That's one of the challenges. But what we are saying as AJS, we need to bring many advocates on board to become AJS practitioners, to sensitize them and tell them, you see, even without going to court, especially when you are a certified mediator, still you can conduct your business and be able to mediate within your chamber without actually going to court. And that's something that we really need to bring on board as many advocates, because they are legal practitioners. Number two, there are some areas you will discover. Some of the cases AJS is handling, they used to be handled by chiefs and their elders. Now, not all, there are those who are appreciating AJS. But there are those who feel like, could this be now another team coming to overtake us? Because AJS, we don't ask for any money. But when you go to the chief's in some offices, he'll tell you, you know, Wases must have tea. Now, here is a poor widow who has been denied justice from their family, especially when the husband died, she has nothing. And you are trying to ask her for resources. So we need to sensitize people and do a lot of capacity building, bring everybody on board. The key stakeholders, that's the National Land Commission, our administrators, county government as well, so that we are able to read from one page. And in this way, AJS will succeed so well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom.
Yes, thank you, Elder, and to you, Eunice.
Yes.
I will ask the same question.
Yeah.
What are the impact? Sorry, what should be done to improve implementation of AJS?
Actually, as my colleague has just said,
Yes.
we need to bring more people on board, especially those are dealing with the community issues. And they should also know that we are not there to take their chance, but we are there to reduce the workload. Eventually, even if we bring them on board, they should also be trained on how to handle these issues before they reach the court. And if we do that, we will minimize the movement, we will minimize the time taking about the cases and what have you through the court. So it is just as my colleague has just said, we need to do sensitization and mobilization more and more, and this will need resources. Without resources, we cannot move far, and we will just dwell around us, and many people will just be there lying behind, not knowing about the AJS. Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice. And to you, Elder Apollo, what are your thoughts on this question? Elder, kindly unmute. And Eunice, you can mute now.
Okay.
Sorry, I muted to avoid a lot of noises. Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you, Yvonne and Elder, together with Widow Champion for that. May I have a peep on the issue of challenges which we meet, and then a bit of what opportunities I'll mention about that. What the challenges we are getting most is what is making the society disintegrate. That is social management of our life in the society. A lot of cases at times you find they are coming out of people not understanding each other, apart from the side of the greediness. One not understanding the condition of a widow, what a widow needs. At times the orphans, because we also mediate a lot of cases on orphan being denied land, or at times the parents die before the land is distributed. So social aspect of managing and how the society can manage itself so that there is cohesiveness is one of the biggest challenge. Then the other one is about resource scarcity, mostly land, because you will find most cases, even brothers fight. There was a case we had where orphans were left, they are needy, but again, they start fighting against themselves. So this is again entering into the aspect of social management of all the issues, how we can bring them and people understand how to socialize with each other, how to appreciate each other, so that we minimize the disputes. The other challenge we have as elders where we are is about an office where there is one can be taking a report. That is also one thing we are sharing with some of my elders, that should we really contribute? I think we should contribute and rent a place where it's known very well that is where we should be getting. Then the number of ADR teams, ADR committees among elders. In Homa Bay County, I think we are about only 3. So, and yet there are so many cases around us. So there is need under that challenge that we increase more ADR teams, alternative dispute resolution teams, as that. Then communication has also been a challenge, because at times you want to sob down a widow who is annoyed, who is displaced, and you have to allow her to talk and sob down. And at times you find this again in terms of airtime and what is quite a challenge. to some of us, especially those who are coordinating everything. And then a bit of communication, yes, save for Kelin, who at many times come to assist. But again, if you look at the number of cases, it goes a bit beyond. Training is another aspect, which is a challenge because we are mediators, but again, there is need for mediation training. We got, some of us got opportunity of a bit of some from Kelin, but again, if you look at going into the issue of courts, then there is need for that accreditation. But again, we still look at everything and we say, well and good, because we have opportunities. There are so many cases around us which we need to solve. And this indicates that the ADR or AJS in that case is really being appreciated because of it is cheap, as we said, and all aspects which make it available to access justice. So to me, I would recommend that we look into how we can increase this opportunity to the people, because it's close to the people. At times, you find some cases, just walk in. Somebody walks in and say, elders, do you have the other elder around? We say, yes, let me call him. And then we convene a quick one, and then we find everything is resolved at that time. So I would say there are a lot of opportunities we can do, and supports are also around. If we can mobilize resources around, I've been seeing from the county governments. There are also culture and heritage, the culture and sports funds. These are things which I think can also be looked into. For those who are listening, can mobilize teams so that we get more and more teams coming in to assist in resolving money cases under the AJS policy and the system itself. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, elders. And I like the way you've put your challenges, because you put the challenges and then you propose even solutions for them. And
your voice is faint. Your voice is faint. I don't know whether
my apologies, Elder. My apologies, Elder. I'm saying I like the way you've put your challenges, because you put the challenges and propose solutions for the same challenges. And the main thing that has stood out is that there's need for sensitization at the community level, and even with government and non-government actors or stakeholders, for them to understand AJS and even to support AJS. And as you've even put it, Elder Apollo, that there's need for us to have many AJS groups in our communities for them to help us in resolving these disputes. And thank you for that contribution. Allow me to go to the chat. I can see Elder Kioma is saying that we have handled issues of stigma and discrimination in relation to HIV in our community using AJS as community health advocates. So that's another example of a success story where AJS was used to bring issues of equality to the society and even address issues of non-discrimination. So he says definitely AJS reduces conflicts in the community as well as lasting peace. And we are also joined by one of our other elder, Caroline Oyumbo from Mbita. And she says that AJS maintains the social status of families and also friendly, since the languages of their catchment are hence allowing, yes, I think what she's saying is that language used in AJS is friendly to the parties, and the parties can freely express themselves and get solutions that meet their needs. Yes, I'll allow our listeners to also give their contributions, but before that, allow me to bring in our advocate, Jacqueline Obala, to give us her comments on AJS, especially focusing on our topic for today, facilitating social transformation through AJS. Yes, Jacqueline?
Thank you, Yvonne, for that. When you're looking at facilitating social transformation, we find that AJS has the niche, yeah, it occupies that niche, and I think it's able to deliver only because coming from a legal background, we understand that not everyone understands the legal procedures and the intricacies that goes with litigation, and allowing for members, even at the grassroots level, to pursue AJS as a form of dispute resolution then gives room for them to access justice, even at the most basic levels, and not to water down the role of AJS, because we see that the Constitution gives room for it in Article 159, among others. The Constitution says, let me just open so that I do not misquote, but yes, the mandate for AJS comes under Article 159 2C. Yes, 2C, alternative forms of dispute resolution under which AJS falls. And we see that at any given point in time, as we implement AJS, even at the grassroots level and all levels really, we have to make sure that it's not repugnant to morality. We have to make sure that it is subjected to the Bill of Rights and that it furthers the access to justice and it's not repugnant. And I believe that even for the AJS practitioners, as they continue to become key players in advancing AJS and the application of it, I think we have to have the principle that ignorance of the law is not a defense at the back of our mind. So even because we will see that there are a lot of land issues, succession issues. So just knowing or having a good understanding of the provision of the law, so that whatever decision that is reached at the AJS level is not considered illegal. Yes.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for that. And allow me to get the comments of our panelists on that. Our advocate here, Jacqueline Obala, she's actually a trained and certified mediator and a court annexed mediator. She's saying that even as we're making decisions at the AJS level, that we should ensure our decisions are in compliance with the law. They should not be repugnant to, they should not be contrary to morality and provisions of the law. What comments do you have on that, our elders? Yes, Elder Mike.
Allow me, Yvonne, to say that actually to quench the thirst of the Constitution, Council has put it very clearly, and yes, that should be the position. Yes. Because we don't operate outside the law, but we are within the law, but now in a very simplified manner. So I agree with the Council, the way she's put it across. And that's what we do as practitioners of AJS.
Yes, thank you, Elder. Now, allow me to open the floor to our listeners or those who have joined us today. So if you have a question, kindly just unmute and raise the question. Any questions?
Hello.
Yes, Elder Okal.
Well, I'm only commenting what our elders, especially Apple, has said. In fact, right now, I rushed because I was attending one of the AJS cases to come and listen to this. So if it is improved and a lot of civic education is given to the public, I think the courts will have less problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder. And actually, Elder Okal is one of our AJS practitioners from Nyando, and we are honored to have you today. Thank you for your comments.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yes, Karen?
Yeah, hi, my name is Karen. I'm from Nyando, sub-county. Elder Okali is from Nyakach.
Oh, my apologies.
Yes, yeah. I just want to say that, yes, AJS is one of the most beautiful things that ever happened to us, and especially to these organizations that are working with Kelin. And I also want to confirm that with women champions, Kelin has trained women champions both in Homa Bay County and Kisumu County. One of the women that were trained first, and we are also involved, and we are rescuing, and we are identifying cases, and we are working together with the elders to be able to resettle and also assist women issues of land. And I also want to confirm and say that AJS is one of the best ways to solve issues without causing conflict, more conflict. You know, already when there's a land or a boundary case, there is also a conflict, and it is very, very risky. And when we take people to court, or rather when cases are taken to court, they take a long time, and also there's a lot of grudges in between the families. But when we use AJS, the mediators allow the families to discuss and create harmony. And at the end of summarizing the cases, there is a lot of harmony, there is love, there is that connection, relationship is strengthened between the families, and there is no grudge or hatred left. So for me and the team that I work with in Nyando and in Kisumu County in general, we support AJS, and we ask Kelin to continue training more champions so that they can be able to assist the elders who are very well trained and vast with the issues of cultural values, so that we can continue assisting women on issues of land and property rights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen, and thank you also for being our women's champion. Thank you so much. And I actually agree with you that AJS maintains relationships. Since there's no loser or winner, then the relationship is maintained. Thank you so much. Any other comments?
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
My name is Jemima Lemomo.
Yes.
I'm a human rights defender.
Yes.
I'm from Kajiado County, Ongatarongai.
Karibu.
Asante. I was among the nominated people in Kajiado to be in AJS. Hello?
Hello, yes, we can get you.
But I went to report to the office. AJS had a meeting every Mondays. But when I went to the place where we were supposed to have a meeting, I was told that human rights defenders are not supposed to be AJS. So I've been made to stop working for AJS. I was asking a question, are human rights defenders not allowed to be as AJS members or mediators?
Yes, that's a good question, Lemomo. Thank you for that question. Now, when it comes to AJS, allow me to give my comments as we finish. But let me allow our advocate also to answer that, considering she's a certified mediator, and then Elder Mai will answer that, and then I'll finish by giving my comments. Yes, Jacqueline?
Thank you, Yvonne, for the opportunity. To answer the question as to whether human rights defenders are allowed to practice as AJS practitioners or even certified professional mediators, from a legal point of view, given the nature of work that the AJS practitioners or even certified mediators will play, we see that there's the question of conflict of interest. So maybe you can just, maybe with a detailed background information, or given the context under which you are asked to step down as an AJS practitioner, but human rights defenders can practice as AJS practitioners, in my point of view, provided there's no conflict of interest in their work, in their line of work. At the end of the day, the AJS practitioners are neutral, and they are geared towards peace building more than towards the adversarial system of conflict resolution. Litigation is adversarial in nature. I practice as a mediator. I also practice as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. At face value, these two positions may look as if they clash, but coming back to the issue of conflict of interest, I make sure that I separate my works. When I choose to practice as a mediator, I can then not take up the client and become an advocate on record for them. So I think the same will also work as human rights defenders. You have to make sure that there's no conflict of interest in the different titles that you hold. Back to you, Yvonne. That's my position on the same.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for that. To you, Henry Omai.
Hello, can I say something?
Yes, Elder.
Yeah, actually, Mia, just like I said, I think I've resolved an issue of HIV-related stigma using AJS within our community in Kisumu, somewhere in Manyata. And there are so many cases, small case issues, which can be resolved other than taking somebody through, going through courts, and then somebody is maybe fined or is sentenced on something that you can actually resolve and people remain friends. So through that, we'll realize that we've done is only that some of these things are not documented, such that you get that we've reduced even the numbers, although our jails, the jails correctional facilities are full. We've managed to reduce even the numbers in terms of overflowing. That is something that for sure I know AJS is doing, because you'll find that I looked at certain statistics in a court in USA where 67% of the people who are in jail, about almost 60% are cases which people could have resolved elsewhere. And in fact, we are just saying that even during the recent police reforms, we said we wanted a police social worker, somebody who is able to look at even social intrigues and other issues that are before people go to court, before people are taken to jail or something. Once you reach the police, they can even assess and know whether this is something that can be resolved or it is something that can, because we have even issues of medicines and other things, other issues which could address certain social issues. At that point, I believe we can even have a control of even the number of people going to jail, because a lot of young people are languishing in jail over things that even AJS could actually resolve, having those committees and even having representation just to filter before making them languish in our jails. Those are things that I think are key. And I think having those spaces, I'm calling them AJS spaces, the spaces we've been able to have, it's important for us to have as many as possible and have as many people as possible, so that we are not conflicting with it's not about conflicting with the advocates. It's more of about humanity. It's about your ability to resolve a dispute between two people, and you don't take sides and they'll go home happy. Actually, that is the whole essence. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Kioma. And I like the element that you're bringing to this discussion on criminal matters. And probably this is a good action point for a subsequent discussion, where now we can talk about diversion policy and the AJS policy, right? I think now that can handle the minor offenses, criminal offenses that can be handled outside court. Now, going back to the question that Lemomo had raised, I believe that anyone can be a mediator, anyone can be an AJS practitioner, and there's an important element that Jackie has brought out, the element of context. Sometimes when you raise issues, it's important for, it's easier to give a conclusive response when the context is understood. But generally, so long as you are someone who's morally upright, then you can be an AJS practitioner, you can be a mediator. Yes, that's my comment on that. Unless we have any other comment, yes?
Just a point, Madam Yvonne.
Yes.
Hello. What I feel is that my sister from Kajiado, if she's a trained mediator, I think they should not block her. What I'm seeing is once you train and become certified in mediation, there will be no conflict of interest. I do both. I started as a human rights defender and then went in for training. Wherever I do mediation or anything, there are no conflict of interest so long as you understand your role. And most of the people are now coming in because they see AJS as in one way very pocket friendly because it is almost free. So I feel my sister should just tone down and talk to those people if she's really trained in mediation. Thank you.
Yes.
Yvonne.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I just also want to add something. I just want to encourage my sister from Kajiado, Jemima, and tell her that human rights defenders, just like lawyers, are non-partisan. And in fact, for them to have that interest of being mediators is because there are many cases that are being reported to them, and probably AJS is one of the ways of sorting out many cases that are coming to them, and especially family issues. And as a defender, just like a lawyer, you are non-partisan, and what you just want that win-win situation between the two families that have reported to you. So for me, I would encourage her. Probably there was a specific case in that day, and probably in that specific case, maybe they thought there is a conflict of interest. But I think maybe she can approach the same team and find out and continue working. You know, defenders sometimes are confused. People confuse defenders to be activists or something. And activists are misunderstood. And I think maybe probably when she was seen there, they thought maybe she was policing or something, because people fear us. But if you continue pushing and you sit down and insist that this is where I belong, I personally, I even sit on CUCs, where I work together with the magistrates, I work with the OSPDs, I work with SOS, and when we are outside there, when the OCS is wrong, I talk about it in the CUC, because that is my work, and I sit there as a defender. So there is I don't believe that there is any place that I cannot sit. I can sit anywhere as long as I have the interest of the community, and especially the issues of women. And I am known for fighting for the rights of women in my community. So when I sit anywhere, I am given a chance. Today I attended a Chief Baraza, and there was an election of some committees, and I participated there, and I made sure there are some women that were elected there. I was not invited, but I just get crushed and I went there. And when I arrived there, I am seen as a women defender, and I am given a seat, and I'm given a space to speak. So it is us to take our spaces and make sure that wherever we are non-partisan, and make sure that it's a win-win situation and we are not supporting any place. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And Lemomo, kindly feel encouraged. And even today we are joined by our Dr. Henry Omai is actually the deputy chair of AJS in Kajiado. So probably after this meeting, we can have a discussion with you, Jemima, Lemomo, and Elder Omai, so that we see how to resolve that issue. Jemima?
Thank you. Perfect, perfect. Elder, amsaidie huyo mama ako na roho, wakishikana watafanya kazi poa Kajiado.
Yes.
I want to make a comment.
Yes,
I don't know. Okay, who's starting? Do I continue?
Allow Elder Omai to speak first.
Okay, fine. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
First of all, I want that I put the record straight. In every AJS practitioners, with the training that we have gone through and the mandate that we've been given, Wakili spoke something. If anybody was listening keenly, that's not a subject even to repeat. Wakili actually ground everything. You see, when it comes to solving issues and reconcile people, what is your position as a mediator? How do you conduct yourself? You cannot be the prosecutor the same time you are the judge. we need to be very careful and separate the two. Secondly, we should not carry emotions when it is coming to mediation and AJS. You are touching people's lives. People have gone through issues. Some have been in court for a long time. And then you appear there, it's like you are fighting for one side. That's why even in the court of law, even if you have murdered somebody or you are wrong, until the court proves you guilty, the magistrate cannot see you appearing at the chamber and say, we know you are a criminal. That person has the right to be heard. So we have in Kajiado Cosmopolitan, we have a disciplinary team which looks at the conduct of every member, and then somebody wants you once, twice, thrice. So don't just rush and say, this should happen, this should happen. Remember, we are AJS practitioners. That's what I can say on how we conduct the business of AJS. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Do I go on?
Yes, Elder.
Yeah. Elder Omai, I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you very, very much for really bringing up that issue. I've encountered a situation where you could see what you are supposed to defend. And when you defend and then later go to mediate, then you find things do not work well. And therefore, what we should really separate is that as we defend, if you are a defender, I don't know, this is the way I want to look at it. If you are a defender, there is the aggressive side of trying to protect. The moment you are trying to protect and you are seen aggressively protecting the other side, definitely you not find it easy to bring the two together. And I've seen this. So what we should really separate is if you are defending, how do you enter into that defense? Because at times when you find there's cases, at times you find between the family and a widow, for example. You might find at times there are certain areas a widow might have erred. And here you come to defend, then later you find the widow, like a case we had last week. A widow, fortunately, in quotes, found that her grandfather's name was written in a portion of land. And it was only written by the great-grandfather for the land to be taken. There's a sound. For the land to be taken care of. But then somebody, when the title deeds were brought, there sometimes back, title deeds were brought in mass. Then she happened to have found that her grandfather's name was written in the title. She went and she was defended, and she ended up transferring her name into the land. Now the whole family had a dispute, because here is a case where the land was already settled by another cousin to her husband, who was settled by the family because they knew that was not belonging to her grandfather's place. So in such a case, if you happen to have defended that lady aggressively, just to find that it was just by some opportunity of some error, the land was not really belonging to her. So in such a case, you'll find mediating that thing, if you are present in that place, you can't mediate and reach a solution. So what I'm trying to say is that let's really balance between when we are defending and when we are coming in to carry out mediation, so that we get our issues resolved well. Thank you.
Thank you, elders. And from what I'm getting is that you're saying that even as AJS practitioners, there's a standard of how we do things as practitioners. Correct. And how we should resolve disputes by being neutral, right? So yes. I think this issue can we can organize with Lemomo and Elder Omai and see how to resolve it, so that they both feel that they've been heard. Yes. And so do we have any other comments? Any other concern regarding our topic for today as facilitating social transformation through AJS? Yes, Lemomo?
I've heard everything that has been said. I'm glad for the comments.
Yes.
I'm very glad for the comments. But I wanted before we had AJS, I've been practicing for mediation here in the village for almost 13 years. I was handpicked when I was in my maternity bed for this position by someone who thought at least an opportunity has come for Jemima to serve. I am very good, very, very good handling children matter and family issues. Even the bishop himself knows. Sometimes he tells me, Jemima, you are perfect in handling children matters. I was happy that at least someone after 13 years, now it should be 13 plus 2, 15 years. I have been recognized working tirelessly for the community. Even like you can see now, I'm having this meeting in a police station. I was here mediating something. Then the meeting came up, I excused myself. I'm seated somewhere. I wanted to attend the meeting because it's important. I don't think I was caught in any indiscipline matters. The day I was told not to come to AJS, I introduced the case of a widow, and then Bishop was not present that day. Then I told those people, I will always be coming to AJS at 11 after you have finished handling this mama, because I am a person of interest on this case, because she has been suffering for almost 6 years here. So, and given the job, if you have someone coming to bring a case, just if you introduce them, you just leave. So that day I came innocently. I knew that she has already left, but I found them there. Then I was told by the sub-county ward admin that I have been told by the bishop, because I am a human rights activist, I am not supposed to be an AJS member. I just took a bow and I left, but it's been hurting me. It's been traumatizing me because I feel victimized. I feel really profiled because alternative justice system court is almost something similar to what we are doing, justice seeking outside here. So I just needed the clarity for a clearance in my mind, and I'm glad I've gotten the clearance. Thank you.
Thank you, Jemima. And as you've heard also from Karen, we work closely with. Thank you, Jemima. And as you have heard, we also work with Karen Kiarie. She's also a human rights defender, and she's also working with AJS practitioners from Nyando. And as we have stated, we will have a meeting probably after this meeting to try and resolve that issue. But from what we have discussed here today, I think you can also agree with us that AJS is open for all. There's the issues of equality, non-discrimination as part of AJS, and that anyone can be a practitioner and any case can be resolved under AJS, except their capital offenses, which are criminal in nature. Unless you have any other comments, Karen, Jemima would like to close the meeting for today.
I'm okay now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jemima. Eunice?
Hello. Actually, hello?
Yes, Eunice?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to add that we should not be personal about the issue of our sister, because it seems like there is something in between that they don't want us to know. So it's good you said that after this you'll have a meeting, and I think that will help you know what are the issues concerning the defending and the mediation issue concerning the people. It seems there is something hidden between the two. Thank you.
Thank you. And before I give Kalolo the chance to comment, I also know that Elder Omai works closely with other other stakeholders. He works with lawyers. He also works with even in his panel as Kajiado Cosmopolitan, there are women and there are even human rights defenders. And so as deputy chair of Kajiado AJS, I'm sure together we will be able to resolve whatever happened on that day. Yes, Elder Kalolo. Elder Kalolo, kindly. Yes, we seem to have lost Elder Kalolo. Unless we have any other comment, question, a clarification, I would like to thank all of you. First of all, I would like to thank our panelists for just giving us their knowledge, setting aside time to attend and giving us knowledge on AJS, sharing their experiences, giving us even action points for subsequent meetings. Thank you so much. Elder Omai, thank you. Eunice Okello, thank you, Elder Apollo, for your contribution. And I also want to thank our Wakili, Jacqueline Obala, who is also, in a way, she's also an AJS practitioner. We also want to thank you for setting aside time to come and attend this Zoom meeting. We want to thank Kelin for organizing this meeting. I want to thank Val for making this meeting a reality, for making it possible. I want to thank our participants for setting aside time, for your contribution, for just listening in, and for being here. We want to say thank you. And I want to open the floor just in 1 minute or 2 minutes for anyone who would want, who has any last comments.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Allow me to take a minute to say 1 or 2 things in conclusion.
Yes.
As I said earlier, every house must have the rules of the house on how you conduct your business. I'm sure elders, whenever you sit, you have your own rules on how you conduct the business of the day. And I said the issue of integrity is key. We should not assume that all is well when it is not well. I think Eunice has said there could be something. Nobody can wake up one morning and out of the 9 people, they all say something is wrong and you take them to be wrong. And each one of us, we have the good part that we can contribute to the society. But then we must be very careful when we are doing the work we are doing. The issue of confidentiality is very key. I don't know, Eunice and the rest of you people, what can happen when 1 or 2 of your members who are discussing an issue, when you walk out of that before you conclude a case, that information has leaked elsewhere. Yes. And you are handling delicate matters. It cannot work, members. Let us not cheat each other. Each one of us, we have our own strength in our own way, but we must be very careful on how to transact the AJS call that God has placed us there. Thank you.
Okay, can I add something small? I have a concern, please. Hello? Hello, can I add something?
Yes. Okay. Elder, you are breaking. I'm not sure if everyone was able to get what you said. Yes, but from our discussion on facilitating AJS, facilitating social transformation through AJS, I think we brought out important issues on the benefits of AJS, success stories, and the opportunities that lie in AJS. And I think from this last discussion that we've had, we've been focusing so much on resolving disputes of third parties and forgetting that sometimes, even as even as an institution, even as AJS practitioners, we need to have our own internal ways of resolving disputes. And I think we see that as an opportunity. We can work on that as practitioners in your various areas as you focus on helping the community in resolving their disputes. Then you can also develop internal ways of resolving disputes and coming up with amicable solutions. Thank you so much. I want to urge all of us to continue the conversation on AJS in our communities, in our platforms, our social media platforms, so that all of us at our individual level are able to create that awareness to members of the community and to everyone whom we are working with. Thank you so much again. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Kelly, and everyone else who's created time to be here with us today. See you on our next meeting. Asanteni.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 And Okal, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bishop Kalolo did not appear. Next time, I think we should be with him.
Okay.